The story of the clever thief. Once upon a time, there was a clever thief bothering all the city's people. One day this thief and his friend went to the king's treasury to steal. There was a hole above the vaulted ceiling. The clever thief took his friend's hands and hung them from the hole in the vault. Some officers inside the treasury immediately grabbed his leg and dragged him. The clever thief cut off his friend's head from the neck with a sword, took the head, and fled to his house. The king's officers also took the headless body of the thief's friend out of the vault. They informed the king that a headless body fell through the hole in the vault's roof, that he was unknown, and we didn't know what to do. The king ordered them to take the corpse and leave it in the street, arrest whoever cried over the corpse and bring him to me. The agents did whatever the king ordered. When the thief returned home, he reported his friend's death to his friend's wife. His friend's wife said, "I have to go and cry over my husband's body." The clever thief said, "If you go to cry over your husband's body, the officers will arrest you." The woman said, "No, I must cry over my husband's body to calm down." The thief said, "Now that you want to go, take a bowl of soup with you, and as soon as you get near the corpse, throw the bowl on the ground and then cry safely. If the officers ask why are you crying, you say that I am crying for my bowl and food. If they say we will give you another bowl instead of yours, you should answer them, I want my bowl and soup." The woman did everything the thief told her and walked towards her husband's body with a bowl of food. When she got near the body, she immediately threw the bowl on the ground and started crying. The king's officers there said, "Do not cry. We will give you another bowl and soup instead of your bowl and soup." The woman said, "No, I want my bowl and soup." When the officers saw that the woman would not accept any bowl other than her own, they left her alone. The woman sat down and cried until she was tired, returning to her house. The officers were alert until the evening and informed the king that no one had come over the corpse. The king was disappointed and ordered to bury the body. The next day, an order came from the king that we should do something else today so that the thief might be found. He ordered gold coins to be poured throughout the city. An officer was appointed at every step so anyone who bent his back to pick up the coins would know he was the thief, as the agents hid at every step to see who would bend. The clever thief thought for a while, then put on a pair of shoes, rubbed gum on the bottom of the shoes, and went to the city and started walking. He used to go from one side of the city to the other until when his shoes were full of coins, he would go out of the city and remove the coins that were stuck under his shoes and put them in his pocket and repeat the same thing. In brief, he collected all the gold coins by the evening and returned to his home. The officers were amazed that no one had bent over from morning to evening, so how did all the coins disappear? Informing the king that no one has bowed from morning till evening, but all the coins have disappeared by themselves. The king ordered, "Leave 40 camels loaded with jewels in the street so that maybe the thief can be found this way." The next day, by order of the king, 40 camels loaded with jewels were released in the city. The clever thief took a camel without anyone noticing and took it home, and immediately killed the camel. In the evening, 39 camels returned to the palace, but one of them was missing. No matter how the officers searched, they could not find the camel. They informed the king that a camel was missing. The king ordered, the following day, "Send some old women to people's houses. Maybe they will find a clue." The next day, some old women were commissioned to do this. They went to all the houses in the city to ask for camel meat. One of the old women went to the thief's house and knocked on the door. The thief's mother opened the door, and the old woman said, "Daughter, don't you have some camel meat to give me? My son has been sick for several days. The doctor said he will get better if he eats camel meat." The thief's mother, who did not know the matter, gave the old woman some camel meat. The old woman took it, but as soon as she was about to leave the house, the clever thief arrived. She said to the old woman, "Old woman, what were you doing here?" The old woman said, "I had come to get some camel meat from this old woman for my sick son." The thief said, "Where is it? Let me see." The old woman showed him the meat. When the thief saw the meat, he said, "What is this? Who gave it to you?" Why is it so little? Let me give you a camel leg." The old woman believed his words and got greedy and followed the thief. The thief immediately took the old woman inside the house, killed her, cut off one of her hands, and threw her in a pit. In the evening, all the old women returned to the palace. The officers noticed that one of the old women was not there and informed the king that an old woman had not returned. The king, who was punching the wall in anger, ordered him to set up a tent for his daughter outside the city, fill her tent with jewels, and spread this news throughout the city so that his wise daughter could trap this clever thief. On the first night, when they pitched a tent outside the city for the king's daughter, the thief went to the king's daughter's tent to steal. This time, the clever thief was not alone. He brought a water musk and the old woman's hand. Finally, that night, the king's daughter trapped the thief and decided to take him to her father in the morning. The thief sat for a while and then got up. The king's daughter stopped him and said, "Where are you going?" The thief said, "I am going to the toilet." The king's daughter said, "Sit inside the tent and do your task." The thief said, "Are you afraid that I will run away?" "Do not be afraid. Hold my hand while I do my work outside the tent." Then he gave the old woman's hand, which was tied to the musk, to the king's daughter, and he sat outside, pierced the musk with a needle, and ran away from there. The king's daughter thought the sound of water coming out of the musk hole was the sound of the thief's pee. She held the old woman's hand tightly and waited for the thief to finish his work. It took a long time. The king's daughter saw that the thief was peeing abnormally. She called out, "How long are you peeing? I am tired." He pulled the old woman's hand and suddenly saw with amazement that the hand fell into the tent with water musk. At this time, the king's daughter realized that the thief had escaped again with his cleverness. In the morning, they told the king again that they caught the thief last night, but he managed to escape by cleverness and strength. Upon hearing this news, the king swore that if anyone were a thief, if he introduced himself, I would reward him. I would also bring my daughter to the ogre in marriage. When the thief heard this, he introduced himself. The king kept his promise and gave him his daughter, and they celebrated for 7 days and nights. If you like this story, please like and subscribe.